Whoa, guys, I've gone mad on AliExpress. I've bought props for the kitchen, the new cookery show, Freak's Kitchen. And basically they're props I wear pretty much. So I've bought rubber horns, they're like devil horns and ram's horns. And I've bought bat wings. And I've bought dresses, black dresses. I mean, I've got quite a lot of dresses already, I realised. So I didn't have to go too mad with the dress stuff. But I bought some very, very cool T-shirts as well. And I think where this has taken me, the effort that I've put in, I'm also doing the kitchen. I'm not decorating it as such, but I'm making it, really conducive to filming, ease of filming. And I'm going to have to turn my electric blanket off because I'm sizzling here. I'm fried. I'm a fried lizard, guys. So, yeah, I'm probably not going to paint anything black. I think it might be a nightmare because black shows, if it's on cupboards, it's going to show all my fingerprints as I'm opening and closing cupboards. So basically, every day before I film, I'm going to have to polish the whole kitchen. I don't want to do that. I haven't got time to do housework. It's not my skill. It's not in my skill set, guys. So I want a quick wipe and I'm ready to go. So what else have I decided? I've decided that the freakishness can be worn as much as it can be the backdrop. Do you see what I mean? So I've got all these white cupboards and I'm going to superimpose my bats and crows on it, or my ravens. I've already got 2 songs I think I've written about freaks. So I don't need to do the song. That can be the introduction. You're a freak and I think that I love you. It's a really good track, actually. I really enjoyed doing it. So that's going to be my theme tune, my jingle, as it were, my intro section. I'd shied away from editing and kind of thought, no, I want to do, live broadcasting. But I'm just thinking, well, why don't I, rather than do it every day, which will be exhausting, and don't forget I've got my burlesque dance shows to do as well. I thought, well, let's do sort of one a week and build it up slowly, but really market each episode really, really thoroughly and really well. I think the internet's a bit better now at finding quality than it used to be. So this first episode will be a pilot to check things are going, that the kitchen looks great and all of those things. And my target for doing it is over the week. Well, no, I'm probably waiting for more props. No, I've got enough props, guys. I've got enough props for the moment. I found 2 skulls, glass ones. It's interesting, when you start to look around, you start finding things. I've got my wig, I've got a hat with a spider on. I've actually got loads. So I'm sort of thinking, well, no, I've got enough to do something really good with, to do a bunch of really exciting promo shots. And, I can get some sort of latex out. I do have some latex, believe it or not. I don't want to be completely latexed up because it's a sweaty material. And I'll be stressed enough doing the broadcast, do you know what I mean? You want to get things right. So also, chopping up vegetables and things ready and putting them in dishes so that you can point, rather than holding up the bag that the veg came in from the freezer at Aldi. Do you see what I mean? Make it a bit classier. So I'm learning all of these things. It's really interesting to learn all this stuff. Honestly, I'm absolutely thrilled with the amount of knowledge that I've acquired in a matter of days. I'm already starting to feel like a chef, and I loathe cooking. So who'd have thought that? So yes, really, really pleased. Anyway, I was just thinking there about, men, and I'm not going to slag men off, but I just think we've allowed men to run the internet for too long. And, it's the men that are the venture capitalists. It's the men that are the bankers. It's the men that are in control of Google and Facebook and Twitter. There's no women around. They're not, the board, I don't know. I'm guessing here, but I'm pretty sure there are fewer female top-level people in these companies, and certainly the owners are not female. Now, child abuse on online has rocketed because of smartphones and because of the ease of access. And the problem is violent pornography is being normalised. And, I was just thinking there about how when I was growing up and there was violence quite a lot of violence in my family, and it was normalised then by men in the services, by, men talking with each other in a sexist manner. I mean, I've just watched a programme, I've forgotten what it's called now, Mad Men, which is a play on ad men, which was set in the 60s. And when you see the torrent of sort of sexism and misogyny that existed then, that normalises violence or aggression, misogyny. I put all of those things in one basket. I really do. So what happens when it's prolific and, you've got even more men watching, generally I'm talking about the figures being heterosexual, male on woman. That's the figures that I've seen today, shocking figures. I know it sometimes works the other way around. Of course, I know that. I'm an ex-dominatrix performance artist. I realise that women can be violent too. But generally this abuse now, especially on child abuse, is shown to be more boys on girls. And let's never forget that boys are stronger than girls. Let's please never forget that. And grown men are much stronger than women. You can't shy away from that fact. Trying to say it's an equal playing field is ridiculous because, that's not true. It's just not true. Anyway, back to this, the showing and the ease of access of violent pornography online is clearly, in my opinion, causing a massive problem for young boys, burgeoning, pubescent, post-pubescent, younger men, right? I mean, I was on my Twitter the other day and something came up on my Twitter, and I have a lot of OnlyFans people on my Marchioness of Dorchester channel, and I have a lot of sort of fans in the sex industry, or not fans, followers. And that's because I used to have an OnlyFans account when I was doing the prayers, feminist prayers. And, so Twitter kind of thinks, oh, you're going to like this stuff. And something came up, and it was a young girl, a very, very young girl with a very, she was probably over age, but why was she chosen for this clip? Probably because she looked really, really young and she was tiny. And there were men inside her, a lot of men, top and bottom, right? And then another man was strangling her. And you just think, that's on Twitter? That's on Twitter, That's not even some sort of underground subterfuge, that's blatant. Now, young boys are going to look at that and think, oh, this is what I need to do. And as Freud said, when you're pubescent, the things that you're exposed to have a great effect on your sexual desires. This is when fetishes are made. This is when what you're into is built in now to your sort of, the cogs of your brain and the electricity supply. It learns how to respond to these things, and then it becomes normalised in your head. And then, of course, society, because you see this stuff every day on Twitter, and presumably, or Snapchat and all these other things that kids have access to, and because you see that and it's blatant, it's more normalised, even more normalised. And, don't get me wrong, older men are into, equally base misogynistic practices, and I've come across them many, many times in my life. And you just think, yeah, okay, but now it's so much more prevalent that it could break society. I mean, I really believe that. That could break down society, that factor, because women will stop wanting to be with men completely. Crime will rocket, and you will not have a society who is equal, egalitarian, pleasured sufficiently. Because the other thing about hurting people to get pleasure is it's never ending. The pain that you inflict is never enough. And this is where tragedies occur, And we know that things like voyeurism, hurting animals, are much more likely to be prevalent in murderers, future abusers, sociopaths. We know that. The evidence is all there in front of us. And yet now, going back to even hurting of animals, which now you can see online. And the beheadings, I remember seeing a beheading of a soldier in Iraq, and something of my soul departed, and I was in my 40s. In my 40s, can you believe that? I lost something of myself. Can you imagine what a child would think? It was practically a child that showed me it. It may have been my son and his friend, and you just think, wow, that's obscene. And the destruction of society, which is so finely balanced on advancing, because if society doesn't advance, it will just destroy itself. We need to advance to carry on being creative and to continue the human endeavour to the betterment of the society as a whole. We won't get that. We won't get that if we've got generations of men who are obsessed with hurting women, and generations of women who don't want to be hurt anymore. Do you see? And I don't know what the backlash is going to be like, but I pity, beyond pity, the children, my grandchildren. It used to be you'd look at your children and think, oh, I wouldn't like to grow up in their world. But I'm completely now just skipping them and thinking, what are my these beautiful little grandchildren that I so adore? What is the world going to offer them, actually, that is any better, in fact, just worse, much, much worse than what the world had to offer me? And mine was pretty grim, but goodness knows how these things will manifest. So yes, despite the fact that I'm buying weird, freakish props, I'm also, really becoming so anti-pornography that I think I may have to become a sort of modern Fanny Craddock combined with Mary Whitehouse. If you don't know, Mary Whitehouse was a lady in, I think, the 60s. She maybe went on to the 70s, but definitely the 60s. I think I'm right in saying that. And she was a one-woman anti-porn protester who protested through speech, through visiting, lecturing, and everybody used to take the mickey out of her. Everyone used to take the piss, barking. Everyone just thought she was mad and spoiling everyone's fun. But it's not so. It's not so. So that's where I am today. So I expect some protest art, actually, very soon. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to use porn, the word, in any of my social media without some kind of censorship. But I think I can use it on Twitter. This is the irony of Twitter. You can put on there the abuse of women, but you can't say there isn't as much freedom of speech as you would probably like. Although I think probably Twitter will be okay. I don't know. But can you have one without the other? That's the point I'm making there. Sorry, I got a bit distracted. I'm very aware of the time. So I need to... I've got 22 seconds left. So tellteleclub.com, darlings, and iServalan.com. And expect my new show to be launched over the weekend, if not Friday. Oh, how exciting.